assignment, Mr. Sternad and I would like you guys to update your time in your activities, in your offices, and in your committees. So once you log into your AET, the screen should pull up like this, your AET profile. You're going to see a couple different tabs here: profile, journal, finances, and reports. The first thing you want to do when you're updating your activities, so on your profile, under your activities, it says enter your FFA offices. So first thing I want you guys to do, if you're an officer, go on ahead, click on that. You're going to add a new office. Let's say you're secretary. So if you're secretary, whether that be at chapter level, I don't believe we have any district officers, but chapter level, you're going to want to put that and add that. So beginning date, somewhere towards the beginning of the school year. So let's say I think you guys started in September sometime, so we're just going to say September 1st. And the ending date, it's going to be sometime in May, so we'll go with that. Add new office. That's your office right there, put in there for the year. So going back to your profile, now that you've got your office in, also again, if you've been an officer for multiple years, you can add another officer position. So if that's something that applies to you, make sure you do that. So moving on, if you're in an FFA committee, going back to that profile tab, there is a spot here where you can enter your FFA committee memberships. You'll want to go through here, see which one applies to you. If one applies to you, click on that, put your start date, and then add that. So that is how you're going to update your committees. Moving on to updating your activities. Next, we're going to go to the journal tab up here. So there's a couple different things here that you can update. Time and classroom activities. What that's going to look like, this one is not entirely necessary, but if there's some things in here that you want to add that you think are important, feel free to do so. Animal science, we're going to click that as the class, activity level. You could go through here, classify livestock species. So we're just going to say animal science went over breeds of cattle. So you're going to type in the description, reviewed breeds of cattle. How many hours did you spend on that? We'll say 2 hours, 30 minutes, a few class periods, and then you're going to put your mastery level. That ranges from you cannot do this activity, you don't understand, you can do it with help, you have some understanding, or you can do this activity by yourself and you completely understand it. So, and that can be a little bit of a range. You can move it about to what you feel comfortable with and how you feel that your progress is. So you'll save that and make sure your category, course-related activity. So enter that. Brings you back to the journal page again. So after you do your classroom activities and get those updated, again, that one's not completely necessary, but I would like you guys to put at least 2 or 3 in there would be ideal. But you don't need to put every little thing that you do in class. So time in your AET projects, experiences, SAEs, this is going to bring you to another journal entry. If you're documenting stuff for your SAE, let's say poultry production is the SAE we want to add something to. You go to add, explore skill areas, pick a skill that you would have. So let's go to animal systems, demonstrate management techniques that ensure animal welfare. We're going to go with that as the skill for now. So how much time you spent doing that? How much time did you, let's say, set up your coop, chicken coop, and make sure everything was good to go? So 3 hours. Ensured that the coop was fixed up and in good working order. We'll just put a quick description in there for that. You can choose pictures if you'd like that kind of show that. Supervised, if it was someone that came and watched you, or something along those lines, or you could put unsupervised. So we'll hit save. Time in your community service activities is the next thing. Click on that. Let's say community service activity that you did, highway cleanup. We'll use that for an example here. You won't necessarily need to add a skill area on all these. If there's a skill that you think is applicable to that particular community service activity, feel free to add it. We'll just use one on here as an example, career ready practices. This one may not be completely accurate, but I'm just using this as an example. So we're going to go with model personal responsibility in the workplace and community. We'll add that. If you want to do a quick description, picked up trash along Highway 81. How many hours did you spend doing that? Let's say you spent 3 hours cleaning up trash along the highway. Again, optional pictures if you would like to add one. Then you'll save that, and then that should go under your community service hours. Make sure you change the date on there too. I didn't do that for whenever you did or completed that community service activity. This is for other activities, if you've got any. You could pick the category, whether it be FFA office activity, competition, any of that. So we'll go back. I think there's actually an option for you to go in and put competition activities. So let me go check that real quick. Bring it back to the journal. So again, yeah, some of those categories that you saw on that drop-down menu are also over here. You can do either or. So this one is an easy one though. So since we just talked about it, time and competition activities right here. Pick whatever contest you went to, whatever activity. Let's say you went to, sticking with poultry here, we're going to say you went to poultry judging. Then you're going to go through here and you're going to select that activity. There it is. But just, again, give it a title. Level, it would have been district unless you've also done it at state. If you've ever done that, then that would be something you would make sure you want to mark. But most of you, I would assume, have done district level. Some of you have done state level contests. Make sure to add those. I'm not going to add a skill area for this one, although you definitely can. Description, judged poultry at Clay Center. Trying to remember where that was done at. Hours, let's say it was about a 2-hour contest, however long you think that contest took you. Let's go with that. So, time and FFA committees, if you're in a committee, make sure you choose that committee. So, we put ourselves in growing leaders, leadership, activity title, committee meeting. You met with your committee. So, click on that. Skill areas, again, add one of those if applicable. Make sure you take a look through those, see if there is one. Description, met with other committee members to plan activities. Time, 1 hour. So that's how you do that. Again, change the date as it is applicable. I haven't been doing that on these, but include those. Time and leadership roles, there's categories for that. So if you're a committee leader or something like that, you could add that. So let's say program activities, committee activity, community service, we'll go with that. This might not be exactly what I'm looking for. I might need to adjust that. Let's see. So I'm not sure if you can actually add that. I'll talk to Mr. Shrad and get back to you on that. But again, here's some other things that you could add stuff to. If you're an officer, your secretary, something that you did for your secretary position. Took notes, took minutes at the meeting. I'm not sure this is one that you would actually want to use, but I'm just using an example of filling this out. On 2/12/2020, we'll go with that. Let's say, hopefully that doesn't fall on a weekend or something. Let's go on Wednesday the 12th, 2020. Level would be your chapter secretary. Again, you could add a skill area, description, took notes, minutes at the chapter meeting. So we'll go 30 minutes for that. So that should be overall what you need to update. Make sure you're adding all the contents that you went to, all the offices that you're involved with. Make sure you're doing your community service. Those 3 are very important things to have on there. So make sure those are updated with everything that you've done throughout your years in FFA and in your ag classes. So we'll wrap that up with that. Just make sure you get all that done.